Although Buffy the Vampire Slayer ended over 20 years ago, there are still some interesting theories around the show, but one, in particular, is so good that it needs to be explored in the reboot somehow. Among the best TV shows of all time, as well as one of the most beloved ones, is the supernatural drama Buffy the Vampire Slayer, created by Joss Whedon. Buffy the Vampire Slayer took the audience to the fictional town of Sunnydale, in Southern California, to follow Buffy Summers, Sarah Michelle Gellar, the latest in a succession of young women known as vampire slayers. As such, Buffy has to fight against vampires, demons, different monsters, and other forces of darkness, with the guidance of her watcher, Giles, Anthony Stewart Head. Also helping Buffy are her friends Willow, Allison Hannigan, and Xander, Nicholas Brendan, and as the show progresses, other allies join the group, though not all of them are human. Throughout Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and due to very specific circumstances, other slayers are introduced, but a popular theory suggests there was another slayer in disguise, the vampire Drusilla, Juliet Landor. The Drusilla is a Slayer Buffy fan theory explained. Drusilla was Spike's partner for many years. Buffy and Drusilla. Throughout 7 seasons, Buffy came across a variety of vampires, demons, and other creatures, some of them very creative monsters, by the way, but ultimately, the ones that were the main threat were vampires. Buffy and the Scooby Gang met many dangerous vampires, but they also joined forces with Angel, David Boreanaz, and later Spike, James Masters, another notable vampire in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and one link to both Angel and Spike, was Drusilla. Drusilla was introduced in Season 2 along with Spike, her lover for many, many years. Spike and Drusilla arrived in Sunnydale together, as Spike hoped that the town's energy could heal Drusilla, who was mentally unstable. Before being turned into a vampire, in Victorian London, Drusilla was a young woman with psychic abilities, which she believed to be an evil affliction. Drusilla wanted to enter a nunnery to cleanse herself, but seeing the purity in her and her potential for sainthood, Angelus became obsessed with her. Angelus went as far as to kill everyone close to Drusilla, all so he could torture her and drive her insane. Once he broke Drusilla's mind and spirit, Angelus sealed it by turning her into a vampire, considering her a testament to his evil and atrocious talents. Because of this, Drusilla's fractured mental health continued during her new life as a vampire. Angelus continued to have a sexual relationship with her even after she turned Spike, and it wasn't until Angelus was cursed with a soul that he finally let her alone, and she and Spike went their separate ways from Angel. Now, Drusilla's natural psychic abilities and Angelus' obsession with her have led to a theory about Drusilla possibly being a slayer. Slayers are chosen by destiny, but, theoretically, there can only be one slayer at a time. In the meantime, there are potential slayers around the world, whose abilities aren't activated unless the current slayer dies and it's their turn to take over. Drusilla, then, could have been a potential slayer, with her psychic abilities being a result of this, as well as her renewed strength in Season 2 and Angelus' obsession with torturing and destroying her, but being turned into a vampire put an end to her potential role as a slayer. Drusilla being a slayer gives her character more complexity. Drusilla is a tragic character. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Drusilla smirking. Vampires in the world of Buffy the Vampire Slayer are often complex creatures, with some one-dimensional vampires introduced just for laughs, and Drusilla is one of the most complex and tragic ones. Drusilla would have had a complicated and potentially tragic life if Angelus hadn't set eyes on her, as she struggled with her powers and believed there was evil in her. Angelus killing her family and everyone close to her and forcing her to witness some of those massacres was unnecessary torture for the young woman, and her new life as a vampire wasn't easy either. Drusilla was looked after by Spike, who loved her, but she could have easily been manipulated by others who didn't care about her. Buffy showed throughout the entire show that being a slayer wasn't easy, and Drusilla being one would have added more complexity to her. In addition to fighting the powers she believed to be evil, Drusilla would have had to fight actual evil in many shapes, while confronting her inner demons. It's hard to say if Angelus could still have broken Drusilla had she been a slayer, but their relationship would probably have been even more complex and messy than the one he had with Buffy, as both Angel and Angelus. Why the Buffy reboot should explore the Drusilla theory. There's a lot the Buffy reboot can explore. After years of rumors about a reboot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the show is finally coming back to life. A Buffy the Vampire Slayer sequel series was announced to be in development in February 2025, with Gellar returning as Buffy. The series will focus on a new Slayer, with Buffy having a recurring role. With a new Slayer around, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer sequel series can go deeper into the history of Slayers, through which it can address the Drusilla theory. At the time of writing, it's unknown if Drusilla will return, but she definitely can't be ignored.